Chinese laundering money through casinos and real estate in Vancouver, especially fentanyl overdoses. They're selling heroin so they can buy really expensive real estate and jack up the price. Have they had a single original idea? A single original idea? There's an original. Here, I'll give you an original idea. If you want to use heroin, you come to the government and you make the case that you're a serious addict. If they think you can tell a serious heroin addict. What we're going to do is we're going to put you on a withdrawal program. We're going to remove you from society for a little while in a pleasant location. There's no reason to torture anybody. And we're going to try to wean you off. And if anybody gets caught operating out of that system, offering little $10 bags to people on the street and organizing more addicts, we will punish you. You won't like it. The cops are going to come and get you and put you in jail for a while. That's the response. It's been the response for 10 years, and they don't say it for God knows what reasons. Maybe they don't want to interrupt the Chinese making money. I don't think in Canada that anything is off the table. Liberals, conservatives maybe too, they don't want to interrupt the Chinese because it'll make them unpopular with the Chinese. Burn much jet fuel? Yeah, he's flying off on vacation all the time. The boil water advisory, he said to the Grassy Narrows lady, thank you for your contribution. Grassy Narrows, that's not a situation that deserved any sarcasm. He doesn't care about Aboriginal people. He doesn't like Aboriginal people. The woke Prime Minister in an age of democratic renaissance. He's totally wrong. You've got Sam Harris, you've got Dave Rubin, you've got Jordan Peterson, you've got Janice Fiamengo, you've got a ton of people. And they're all noticing, yeah, woke authoritarian politics is destroying everything precious about the Western world. And now they've got an industry on it. And you still can't figure it out? You still can't figure it out. Okay, I would like to ask him, what do you think about cultural Marxism and postmodernism? And I would write it down on a little piece of paper. I would write down white supremacist conspiracy theory. That's probably what he said, what he would say. Just joking. I don't know what he would say. Gender-affirmative policy. Yeah, are you nuts? 2 or 3-year-old kids aren't in a position to decide that. And it would be okay if he said, well, some are. But that's not the policy. That's not the medical policy. That's not the law. If they say that they want to be the other sex, they can become the other sex, even if they're doing it for attention. 3, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-olds do anything for attention. The transgender kids get attention, so it'll be attractive. Ken Zucker knew more about this than anybody in the world. Really, Ken Zucker, they fired him. Yeah, what's your take on cultural Marxism, postmodernism? He backstabbed Trump. I think it was a G7 summit or something, another big waste of money. He backstabbed Trump when Trump was headed to North Korea to prevent a nuclear attack. That's what he thought he was doing, and it probably is what he was doing. I wonder how many people even give him credit for that. He was a narcissist. He was an egomaniac. He was totally selfish. But guess what? It turns out he did love something, and that was the United States and its political system. Surprise, surprise. He's not as bad as he seemed. Was he a thug? Did he run it like a mob boss? Yeah. You couldn't contradict him. You couldn't betray him. That's really scary. He has an authoritarian personality. But as it turns out, he didn't shut down anybody's freedom of expression, did he? He took questions from the media, hostile questions every day. Justin Trudeau's never asked the hostile question. The press is supposed to push politicians on sensitive things, and the politicians are supposed to answer. That's how the democracy is supposed to work. Trump did it, Trudeau didn't. Weak response to the CN rail blockade. Yeah, so some guy decides that he should be the matrilineal leader in a matrilineal system, and he pushes the woman out, and he wants to stop the natural gas pipeline, I think it was. And the Aboriginal people wanted the jobs. They just wanted jobs. So, but what happened was is that the whole Canadian rail system was shut down for like weeks at a time. And that made Canada look like a really stupid place to invest your money. You got a country that can't even run a rail system, you don't want to invest there. So we gave in to the terrorists in that case, the ones in Montreal, whatever they were called, Mohawk or whatever. Then a couple of years later, you got arson. It's the same radical types. It's the same woke ideology. And here it is. There's a Price U professor, Aboriginal Studies professor, Feminist Studies professor, Critical Theory professor. And you're going to pay it. We're justifiably suspicious of you. You may have caused some of the fires in BC that are happening right now. A lot of us understand that we need to take away your jobs and give them to nobody. If you're going to teach horse shit, we're going to kick you out. And there's bloated administrations in every university. We're going to kick you out too. I may have mentioned this already. One university in the United States has 130 diversity officers. It's 130 people are employed to maintain the illusion that there's a problem with racism and sexism in campus, and you need them to deal with it. No, sorry. You got to go. He looked weak to the Five Eyes. There was a sort of an Anglosphere coalition between England, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada, and the United States. We're not going to let 5G take over in Canada. We're going to watch what the Chinese government share information. He looked weak there, and the New Zealand bailed out completely. We made bad neighbors with the United States. Like it or not, a lot of people admire Trump because Donald Trump did a lot of things. He prevented nuclear war. He controlled the southern border. He spoke out plainly about BLM. He spoke out clearly about critical race theory. He improved wages for people of color in the United States. The only demographic he lost votes with was white men. Trump did a lot of great things, and a lot of Americans respect him, even if he is crazy. And he is crazy. And he got elected because of political correctness. People are more concerned about political correctness now than in the beginning. You are getting him elected. Trudeau and his government, when I say Trudeau, I mean him and his government, softened border with between the United States and Canada. You can't have a democracy without nations. You can't. How would it work? People from all over the world are going to vote in your country? Here's an interesting tidbit. Which country bailed out the Chinese Communist Party during the Cultural Revolution? It turns out it was Canada. He couldn't make money on pot. Yeah, we bailed them out. The Chinese Communist Party might not exist without Canada. We fed them during the Cultural Revolution when they were murdering people and people were starving to death. He couldn't make money on pot. Pot should be profitable, and they should bust people operating without the system, and it should be taxed. Why wouldn't it be taxed? He doesn't want it to become a source of income the way that alcohol is, sure. But it's a profitable product. Tax it. There are First Nations that have already signed deals for 5G with China. We're afraid 5G, they're going to spy on us. We don't want it in Canada. Haven't so far. Probably will get around to it. But there are Aboriginal bands that have already signed on. That's true. That don't look good.